We are now back live. So let's talk about obviously UGA dying. I don't know how much there is to really say on it other than a dog died. Sucks, but UGA 10 passed away. Thankfully, we have UGA 11 already taken over the reins. Your thoughts on it?
Well, how old was Q? Was he 10?
Hold on. Let me pull up my blog.
Well, while you're pulling that up, he's the winningest 2 national championships, right?
Yeah.
Winning this UGA of all time. One of the things I will say that's unrelated to football, if you go back and look at the Georgia mascot from, I don't know, the 1920s to now, look at how the English Bulldog, the breed, AKC, the AKC breed has changed. And Bulldogs are cute in their current form, but are we doing something a little inhumane to the Bulldogs, continuing to breed them that way? Because usually if you look at Bulldogs, number one, because of the density, they can't swim, they drown. And then the mother has a really hard time giving birth. And if she gives birth to more than like 4, that's extremely rare and very hard on the female. My bigger point is this. Has nothing to do with UGA or the.
We're really getting deep onto Bulldogs and birds.
I've been thinking this for a long time, man.
Okay.
I really have been. The English Bulldog, that's not the way we've got it, and currently the AKC, that's not how Bulldogs were bred, man. They were much more athletic. Their snouts were out a little bit more. Yeah. They lived longer. And I know that he's got it easy to some extent. He's inside of air conditioning on top of a bag of ice. But the fact that we have to do that for a dog, man, and we have hot summers down here. And those Bulldogs have a hard time with their face smushed up like that, breathing. We could do a little bit. The AKC could do a little bit and make these dogs live a little bit longer. So we're the one before Q, or there's a couple that were like.
There was a couple whenever I was a kid where I think it was like 7, 8, and 9. They lasted like 3-4 years.
Yeah, man. And the Silers are taking good care of the dogs. That's not it. And genetically, they're breeding them according to standards. So I'm not faulting the Seiler family or anybody else that owns English Bulldogs. I love them too. But AKC needs to do something where they're a little bit more athletic and they don't die so young and they don't suffer when they live. And believe me, I love the way our dog looks, but let's be humane and kind of recognize what the fuck it is that we're doing.
So he was 10 years old, and he was only a few months away from his 11th birthday. He was May 27th, 2013. So he was 70 years old in dog years, and that's
and lived longer than the bald-headed guy that painted his head. So
Jesus Christ.
Did that shock you that was coming? So maybe we need to rethink what Darwin needs to rethink about how he's breeding fucking humans.
I was thinking of maybe Toby Keith. He was 62. Dude, fuck, go for the 45-year-old. That was low hanging fruit. Bless his heart. I have a blog loaded up because the segment that he did was actually like really good on game day. And
I feel terrible. I'm not laughing. I guess I am laughing at it, but he's 45, man. I mean, geez.
Well, anyway, I mean,
worked for longer than he did.
Steering on back to the path. UGA took over in 2015. It was Mark Rick's last home game. Me and you were both there. That's whenever you
walked off.
That and when Sonny Michel, and then 2 years later, Sonny Michel ran the same play.
We got to get some context with me going to my favorite team of all time, but we were struggling and barely beat. It was overtime. Georgia Southern, for God's sake, and the stadium erupted like we just won the national championship. I'm like, where are we as a program that we're? I mean, sure, I was glad Georgia won, but we take a last minute, run to beat Georgia Southern, and we're all jacking off. That's whenever, I was done with Mark Richt before then. I think that was the same year that we beat Missouri 9-6.
The field goal game.
Yeah.
Schottenheimer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when Mark Richt told Marsha Morgan he loved him no matter what. That's whenever I was out. That was crazy to me. But yeah, so he took over then. He had a winningest record for an UGA ever with 91 wins and only 18 losses. 2 national championships to go along with it. 3 SEC titles.
Should I have known?
I actually put that down wrong. It should be in my blog. I said 2, but it was 3. And I always forget the 2017 one. So yeah, UGA and now UGA 11, who honestly,
what's his real name? I should know that.
Who UGA 10 or UGA 11?
No, the new one we got now.
UGA 11 is Boom.
Boom, that's right. Yeah, I knew it was okay.
So, and was he one?
You have cool names. Who names those? Seiler family.
Seiler family names.
Yeah, those are really good.
Yeah, they are good. So there you go. There's another tradition gone by. I guess we can all see UGA 10. He'll be interned. Or was it interned? Is that the correct usage of that word?
I think so.
Yeah, interned in Sanford Stadium for immortality. So good for him. All right. And speaking of Sanford Stadium, I've driven by it a few times with the Hedges being gone.
I thought they were going to be Chaney was going to be interned down there one time. Whenever I saw him walking back up the steps to the press box or the coach's box one time. Anyway,
him and UGA are both similarly built.
Yeah, they got the nose pushed up.
And hell, he's lived longer than UGA. All right, well, close to it. All right, speaking of, so I've driven by a couple of times of Sanford Stadium because it is a really odd thing. And then me and Izzy went for a walk today. We checked it out. Very odd. We even walked through the concourse because the gates were open, so it was very nice, and nobody said anything to us. But anyway, the Hedges are now gone, so I don't really, I don't know what exactly is going on because I've read 2 conflicting things. First thing is that these hedges are the hedges that were there last year are going to be replaced with new ones. Then I've read or I've heard that there are going to be new hedges. I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me because they're shrubbery. They need to be there, but they're going to be back inside the stadium
by the spring game.
By the spring game. The thing that amazes me about the whole thing is they're going to put a whole new irrigation system, new soil, and you can tell. I mean, they have completely uprooted that entire area where the hedges are around the field. The hedges, you don't really think about them if you go to the stadium as much as we have, or if you've gone to games, you probably don't really think about them because they're just that's what a Georgia fan that this is part of the game day experience. But it really does tie in the stadium. It makes the stadium different and unique, and looking at it without the hedges is just another stadium. So I found that kind of interesting today whenever I looked at it. Anyway,
so I'm old enough to remember when they redid them for the '96 Olympics, and one of the things people were up in arms about it, and one of the things they said that kind of tried to placate all the traditionalists like myself is they said they were clones. Now, again, what's the dude's name with the P's? Mendel? Is that the Yeah. He could probably explain that, and I'd have to go back and revisit that chapter in my biology book. But they told us they were clones.
Yeah.
So, and they last evidently between 20 and 40 years. So 96 to now, that's right. What, 30 something years? 30. I'm not good at math.
96. I'm born in 99. I'm 25.
Okay. So 30 years, 29, right?
Yeah, 29.
So it's right in that range. But now what I heard, and again, I don't know if this is right, but they are genetically linked. In other words, the original hedges and the ones that are going in are genetically related. They're not clones. First time we were told they were clones, but whatever type of hedge it is.
The Chinese privet, by the way. Sadly, I know that without looking that up.
Chinese privet?
Yes.
Are they expensive?
Let's look it up since we're here.
Because I may put those outside of Tommy's house. I got to think of shrubbery.
Well, here you go. I got it.
I'm 52, so by the time they die, I'll be dead. So that may be perfect. But I don't like the first part of it. Chinese might be infected with COVID.
Yeah, the Chinese privet has a claim to fame as the Hedges for Georgia. So let's go back. Hold on. Chinese privet. How much you can? Oh, as an invasive plant.
Really? Like kudzu.
I
Oh,
guess.
we can just get rid of the Chinese privet and put kudzu. We'll go from Chinese to Japanese.
Let's see. Oh, they have flowers too.
Yeah, I see.
You can buy one for well, right here, Home Depot, $30.
There you go. Well, that may be what I put in.
That would actually be kind of cool. I think you should.
I think I'm going to do that. Remind me. I'll forget. I'll know it's a Chinese something.
Chinese privet. There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know why I ever remember that. It's just useless information that I have in my brain. But yeah, I know these aren't clones. They're genetically linked. I don't know. I mean, obviously, shrubbery doesn't last that long, so they're gonna have to be replaced. As long as it's the same type of shrubbery, what the hell does it really matter? I don't know.
I get more if it's on our own volition that we take it out due to health reasons. That's sort of like putting a dog down. Speaking of UGA, but whenever fucking South Carolina comes in there and molests them and pulls them up, that irritates me. So,
well, yeah, sure, I get that part, but as long as they're the same thing, I mean, it makes sense. I'll tell you another interesting thing for people that are interested in this type of stuff, like me. Is really interesting because whenever you look at like Sanford Stadium 1929 or 1965 or 66, whenever they cut, because Georgia used to come out under the hedges. I think I showed you a video of that. That was there since the 20s. The interesting part of it is if you look at the stadium, the way that it's built, there's an oval around a square. And I found that was
the whole outline of the stadium is an oval around a square.
Yeah, the square is the football stadium, and then the stadium itself is an oval.
Well, let me ask you this, and I don't remember, and I should, but when we went to the Rose Bowl, I could see a lot of similarities between it and Sanford Stadium. Obviously,
it's a cottage.
Do they have hedges around them? They have something, right?
So that's how the hedges got started in Georgia, because they had the Rose Bowl. Their hedges don't surround the playing field, but they don't cover the whole thing. I forget exactly how it goes, but I don't know whoever Sanford maybe saw that or heard about it, said, that's a good idea. Let's put hedges, but put them all the way around the playing surface.
Yeah, I will tell you, as we're getting off topic here, but Rose Bowl, that setting, and I heard national, you know how I listened to 680 The Fan here in Atlanta, not to plug them, but that's pretty good. And they have the weekend, like ESPN people, you know, whatever they tie into. They were talking about the Rose Bowl being the permanent place for the national championship, and how shitty of an idea that was. I don't ever call into radio stations, but I started to call in because I'm like, you are out of your mind. Have you ever been there and just seen the setting and the weather? I know it rained this year, but 9 years out of 10, it's going to be perfect weather, and it is. I don't think there's a better football stadium that I've ever been to in my life. It is fantastic setting.
Yeah, to me, it's one of the. It should be as the cathedral of college football. I mean, it is what college football is.
I agree,
and they've done a really good job keeping that way. I mean, think about it. The Rose Bowl's hosted Super Bowls, multiple Super Bowls, and it still has remained a college football venue.
Here's what I can tell you. I've been to see the Rose Bowl when Georgia played Oklahoma, and I've seen Alabama and Georgia play in Indianapolis, and I'll take the Rose Bowl. Whoa. Indianapolis is shit. Detroit, shit. Houston would be shit. Who wants to go see a college I mean, honestly, football to me is meant to be played outside. You know what I mean? That's what it's supposed to be.
Well, yeah, and I mean, look, you can agree or disagree with that. I could be swayed either way on the inside outside thing, but I find it weird the sport that we all love is played on a Monday. That's weird. That's usually played on a Saturday, and then the game is played in an NFL stadium.
Yeah,
It doesn't make any sense to me at all. It never has and never will. So I'm in favor of it being in the Rose Bowl. And hell, if you really want to do it, you can put it in the Coliseum too. I don't mind either way, but I think the Rose Bowl is probably the best stadium in college football.
I vote for the Rose Bowl, man. It's a cool experience. I know it's expensive for fans of on the East Coast to get out there, but how many times does your team get to play in a national championship? Sacrifice, quit eating at McDonald's, put some money to the side, and go to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, Sanford Stadium was built after the Rose Bowl, right?
Yes, I do. I do know that. I could see a lot of similarities. It's really cool when you walk in the Rose Bowl too, like like I call it underneath, but
That
how
title,
narrow, how narrow they are. You could tell people back in the whatever years were a much tinier.
early 1900s. Yeah, they were very tiny and very short. So anyway, I guess we'll all see what the new Hedges look like. Hopefully, the Hedges that they put in '96 were one of the most winningest. I mean, they had a really good record at home. So hopefully that continues. If not, I guess we got to start blaming.
You get them from the same nursery.
Yeah, it's all down in Tifton and ABAC.
Okay.
Yeah. Another weird thing that I know just off the top of my head. All right. For your shipping needs, go to Unishippers. For your Georgia football needs, check out Don the Dog. I have a blog up about the next topic that you'll see on YouTube. And if you want shipping done, who do you go for?
We'll go with Patrick Lampasi.
All right, Pat, congratulations. You got a shout out on YouTube. All right, see y'all on the other side. Okay.